Assalamualaikum and good day to each and everyone. I am Aliyah Khan Salong and this is my report in EDUC 504 Curriculum Development and Design with the topic Comparative Models American, British, and Islamic. This is a continuation of the report of Ma'am Haji Kusain. Let us first discuss the education system in the US or the American education system. In the United States, most children attend preschool part-time, but state-provided education does not start until kindergarten or year 1 in the UK. In the early years, children are gradually introduced to learning with a strong emphasis on socialization as well as developing basic language and math skills. It is generally accepted that from kindergarten through grade 3, children acquire basic knowledge that is then applied and developed more rigorously in grade 4. The US system is typically divided into 3 levels. The first level, the basic elementary school, from kinder to grade 5. The second level, the middle school, from grade 6 to grade 8. The third level, the high school, from grade 9 to 12. The curriculum in the United States is usually quite extensive and students are expected to study many subjects such as English, math, science, foreign languages, history, art, music, and physical education, all the way to grade 12. In the United States, math and science are taught sequentially rather than simultaneously. A student in grade 9 can study physics in 1 year, followed by a year of chemistry in grade 10. Likewise, students progress from algebra to geometry, trigonometry, calculus, and so on. At the end of high school, US students apply for college education based on a number of elements. Their grades in all 4 years of high school average as GPA or the grade point average, the result from various exams, the teacher's opinions, and personal achievements and extracurricular or volunteer activities. There are 3 kinds of tests in the US system. The first one, the Scholastic Aptitude Test or the SAT. Second one, the American College Test. And the third one, the Advanced Placement. Scholastic Aptitude Test. The SAT is a standardized test widely used for college admissions. The purpose of the SAT is to measure a high school student's readiness for college and provide colleges with one common data point that can be used to compare all applicants. Second one, the American College Test. The ACT is another standardized test for high school students wishing to study at universities or colleges in the US. Like the SAT, it assesses the general academic aptitude of high school students and the ability to study at the college level. The third test, the Advanced Placement. EP provides high school students with the opportunity to take college-level courses. American colleges and universities may grant placement and course credit to students who obtain high scores on the examinations. The British education system. In the United Kingdom, schools follow the national curriculum that begins with the early years foundation stage framework. AYFS provides a holistic framework of milestones and benchmarks where children learn through developmental stages. When students get into upper grades, education learners pick areas they want to concentrate on with the General Certificate of Secondary Education or the GCSE or International General Certificate of Secondary Education or the IGCSE if outside of the United Kingdom. There are 3 kinds of tests in the United Kingdom system. The first test, the General Certificate of Secondary Education or the GCSE. The second, the International General Certificate of Secondary Education or the IGCSE. And the third one, the A levels. The General Certificate of Secondary Education. The GCSA is the main school leaving certificate in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Scotland has an independent national qualification system. In recent years, the UK government has introduced a GCSA reform program, including a grading system that uses numbers 1 to 9 instead of letters A to J. GCSAs are available in approximately 50 subjects and are usually preceded by full-time 5-semester courses. GCSA exams are taken in May or June when students are in grade 11 or the year 11, and their results are published in August of the year. International General Certificate of Secondary Education, the IGCSA. The IGCSA is an internationally recognized exam at the same level as the GCSA. It aims to adopt a broader approach to learning. Schools may offer any combination of subjects for which each student receives a separate certificate. There are over 70 subjects, including over 30 language courses, offering a variety of options for students with a wide range of abilities, including those whose first language is not English. The A levels. The A level diploma was introduced in Great Britain in 1951, and its idea is to educate the best candidates for leading universities. The A levels are taken between the ages of 16 and 18 and are much more difficult than the GCSAs. They can't be taken without having passed GCSA in similar subjects. If you want to go to university, you have to take both exams. Let us now go to the comparison between American or the US system and the British or the UK system. In the US system, less emphasis is placed on examinations and students study general subjects until the end of high school, which is grade 12, the UK equivalent of year 13. Students are assessed at the end of each grade when they move on to the next, but the exams are not nationally standardized and have traditionally had relatively little influence on their progression to the next grade. They can, however, help to determine at what level a student can choose a course in the next grade, more or less advanced. However, there are no exams in the US comparable to GCSA or A levels. The grades in both systems. You can see that the education system of the two starts at the same age, which is 3 to 4 years old, but they have different name with it. In British, it starts in nursery, and in American, it starts in preschool. Both also ends in the same age, which is 17 to 18 years old, but also with different name. In British, it is year 13, while in American, it is grade 12. Let us now go to the Islamic concept of curriculum. Muslim scholars have made serious endeavors to define the concept of Islamic education and then to develop a genuine Islamic education model based on the basic tenets of Aqidah at-Tawhid, the principle of faith. This reformation of education has envisioned to produce the new Muslim generation which is capable of fulfilling its role as Khalifatullah, the vicegerent of God, responsible for the development and maintenance of civilization and its sources. In another word, Islamic education is obliged to deal with the overall development of the individual, spiritual, intellectual, imaginative, physical, scientific, linguistic, both individually and collectively. In sum, the ultimate of Islamic education is in the realization of complete submission to Allah on the level of the individual, the community, and the humanity at large. A newly integrated Islamic curriculum and subject matter for contemporary Islamic schools needs to be to be devised to promote Islamic identity solidarity for the Ummah. It is for the need of the young generations to be instilled with pure Islamic values and beliefs from the beginning in a very comprehensive, critical, and creative manner by using newly revised, integrated, and dynamic approach to education. The purpose of an Islamic curriculum is to include an Islamic perspective in the curriculum which reflects the contribution of Islam and Muslims to civilization. Second, to ensure that all students gain knowledge and understanding of the Islamic legacy. Third, to unify the education system by removing the dualism of sacred and secular form of education. Fourth, to prevent Muslims being influenced by godless ideologies. Our main source of Islamic integration is the first one, the Quran, and the second one, the Sunnah. Integrate into lessons relevant reference from the Quran and Sunnah. Islamic religious curricular has gone through four distinct periods in Islamic history. The first period is a period of development which started with the resurgence of the Prophet Muhammad SAW in Makkah until the end of Umayyad period. The main characteristics of religious curriculum of this period are purely Arabic in nature, strengthening the basis of Islamic religion and spreading its teaching, based on religious sciences and Arabic grammar, concentrate more on study of hadith and jurisprudence, concentrate more on Arabic grammar and literature, and the initial study of foreign languages. During this period, the mosque was the center of activities of the Islamic society and education was the important part of those activities. The second period is a flourishing period of education starting in the east with the emergence of Abbasid dynasty until the downfall by Tartar in 659 H or the 1258 M, whereas in the western part of Islamic Empire the important center is Andalusia, especially under the rules of Umayyad Caliphate. During this period, the curriculum was expanded to include non-religious sciences as well as the center also expanded to include Makkah, Al-Madinah in Hijaz, Basra and Kufa in Iraq, Damascus in Sham or Syria, Cairo in Egypt, and Granada and Sevilla in Andalusia. The third period was a period of weaknesses and decadence of which started in the East and North Africa with the resurgence of Ottoman Empire which lasted until the independence of Muslim countries. The most important characteristics of these periods are the entire curriculum was based on the transmitted knowledge, the decline of the Arabic language, the method was based on memorization, the deterioration of scientific research and thinking process, the spread of the methods of summarization and repetition of what was made by early scholars. The fourth period is known as the period of revival, awakening and rebuilding education in Muslim countries which started subsequent to the independence of these countries. This process is still going on to the present time. The most important characteristics of religious education during this period are as follows: adoption of Western educational system, increasing concern on natural as well as human sciences, penetration of Western culture, an attempt towards eliminating dualism between modern education and religious education. The aims and objectives of Islamic education at different level of schooling. Aims and objectives are constructed beforehand to know the behavioral outcome of the Muslim learners. For the purpose of teaching Islamic education in the formal system of education, the teacher has to formulate beforehand the aims and objectives of Islamic education at different level of schooling. at nursery and primary level. Salahuddin Yusuf in 1991 in his article titled Islamization of Knowledge, a Work Plan for Islamic Nursery Education, suggested that the objectives of Islamic nursery education should include the following: to develop the intellectual, physical, moral, aesthetic, and spiritual potentialities of the children for the purpose of ibadah. At secondary level, to provide such education as will develop mental, moral, and physical aspect of a child's personality in the light of Islam, to make learner realize that physical strength and energy is properly used only when it resists evil and upholds virtue in the society. The aims of Islamic education at the university level. Sharif Hadi of 1983 formulated the aims of Islamic education at the university level as follows: to speak of Islam is to speak of truth or reality, of the hierarchy of reality and of virtues. Consequently, the fundamental goal and the main function of Islamic education and teaching system at the university level consists in awakening the spiritual insight and the intellectual ability in the human receptacle. The construction of objectives of Islamic education in Muslim school curriculum. In totality, we can classify different educational objectives into following 7 broad categories. The first one, the knowledge level; the second, the understanding level; the third one, the application level; the fourth one, the skill level; the fifth one, the values level; the sixth, the interest level; and the seventh one, the attitude level. In the knowledge level, the students will be able to make the students aware about 5 pillars of Islam: faith in Allah, the Salah, Zakah, fasting, and Hajj. In their understanding level, the students will be able to make the difference between Zakah and taxes in the society. The third one, the application level, the students will be able to apply the acquired knowledge of Islam through Holy Quran and Sunnah in the different activities of the life of the Muslims. The skill level, the students will be able to develop skills of communications and delivering the best speech about various facts and principles of Islam in the society. The values level, the students will be able to realize the values of Islam, to have good feelings and emotions about the preaching of Islam. And the interest level, the students will be able to have good interest in understanding of Islam. The attitude level, the students will be able to have good attitude not only towards the teacher of Islamic education, but also towards the other teachers at different level of schooling. In the world of teaching and learning process, each and every Muslim teacher should construct objectives based on Bloom's taxonomy in the light of Islam. These are the references. I think that's all. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching.